Today's episode is all about high pressure fuel lines and how you disconnect those high pressure fuel lines, and I'm going to walk you guys through how you modify one of these common parts tool quick disconnect tools so that they work on these Subaru vehicles. Thanks for checking out the video, guys. I'm Luke. This is the SubaruONLY show. The two little slits in this neon yellow plastic piece. This whole section is that shiny aluminum quick disconnect fitting. First thing to do, take it out of the package. Put the tool in, bam. Okay, we're here in my shop in Northern California. Thanks for joining me, guys. I've got a drawing on the whiteboard behind me, but before I do that, I'm gonna actually step back and tell you what we're doing in this video. This video is actually part of a build series where I'm pulling a 2005 WRX engine out of a 1998 two-door coupe. In some of my earlier videos, I walked through the 4 fundamental processes of pulling an engine. Then I walked through 16 steps that I'll be going through when I pull this 2005 WRX engine. In the last video, I walked through pulling out the intake, the top mount intercooler, and the pitch stop. And I talked a little bit about the design and the function of those parts, and why you might want to place a stock unit with an aftermarket piece. Step number 6 on this master list is pulling the fuel lines and the vacuum hoses. And that's what today's video is going to be all about. So let's jump back to the IMPREZA and take a closer look at these fuel lines and all these vacuum hoses that we'll be disconnecting today. Okay, now here are the 2 fuel lines that we'll be disconnecting. And when I refer to the quick connect fittings, I'm actually talking about these aluminum fittings with these neon yellow plastic pieces here. We're going to talk about those in more detail in a second. But before we dive into how those quick connect fittings work, I actually want to step back and take a look at your complete fuel system and walk through what all the components are. That way, when you're working on your Subaru vehicle, you know exactly what you're looking at, and you'll always connect these hoses in the right order. Now, the first thing we're going to look at is this component, and this is your fuel filter. Your fuel filter will always be in line between your tank and your engine because you want to add a fuel filter right before the fuel goes in your engine. So when you go back to assemble an engine, you'll always know that the fuel line coming out of your fuel filter is going to be the incoming fuel line for your engine. That leaves the other line. The other line is the return line, because on these high pressure fuel systems, we actually have to have a return line going back to the fuel tank. That way the fuel pump isn't pumping against a dead end. Now this return line actually runs to your fuel pressure regulator, and that's this guy right here. This is your fuel pressure regulator. So your fuel pressure regulator will always be in line with your return line going back to your fuel tank. So that's the basic components you're looking at here. You have your fuel filter, which will always be in line with your incoming fuel. You have your fuel pressure regulator, which will always be in line in the return line running back to your fuel tank. Keep that in mind whenever you're disconnecting and reconnecting these high pressure fuel lines. That way, you'll always connect them right the first time. Okay, now let's talk in a little bit more detail about these quick connect fuel lines. The first thing you'll note is that the hard line bolted to the engine is making this sharp 90-degree turn, and that sharp 90-degree turn is why the parts store quick connect tool won't actually work on Subaru vehicles, because there's not enough room for that tool to slide all the way around the fuel line. The other thing I want you guys to note are the 2 little slits in this neon yellow plastic piece. There'll actually be 2 sets of these slits 180 degrees apart. Here's this set right here, and then as I slide it around, here's the other set. And inside this plastic retaining ring, there's actually locking tangs. And those plastic locking tangs are located 90 degrees offset of those 2 slits. So what we're gonna need to do is have a tool that will slide in on top of this metal hard line, but underneath this plastic retaining clip, I've got a figure that I made in the shop that'll help us understand how this whole process works. Okay, now here's the figure that I put together for that quick disconnect fitting. Right here you have your metal hard line. This whole section is that shiny aluminum quick disconnect fitting. And what I've drawn here in red is that plastic section, which is actually colored neon yellow. And then right here is that shiny aluminum body of the fitting. And then over here is the incoming fuel hose. So this is a side profile view of that quick connect fitting. And what I really want to point out are these locking plastic tangs that are shown right here in the figure. Those little locking plastic tangs are what are holding that quick connect fitting on to your metal hard line. Those locking tangs are actually seated on a little ridge on your metal fuel line. And those locking tangs need to be lifted up for that fuel line to be slid out. And the way you remove these fittings is you have a little tool that will actually slide underneath both little tangs and will lift the little tangs up and over that little ridge. That way you can grab a hold of that fitting and slowly slide it off. Okay, now here's a tool that I'm talking about. It's made by Performance Tool, and it's called the Fuel Line Disconnect Tool. It's actually the 5/16 and 3/8 inch tool. These suckers are available at any parts store, and they're only about $7.99. As a matter of fact, why don't we take a quick trip and I'll show you guys where I got this one. $7.99 scissor fuel line disconnector. PT Performance Tool. Super cheap and probably at every automotive parts store in the country. Fuel line disconnect tool. 5/16 and 3/8. Alright, that's what I want right there. Start with this sucker and we're going to modify this thing to work on the Subaru motors. Okay, so now that you have the tool, let's talk about why it doesn't work right out of the package. First thing to do is take it out of the package. Okay, here's that quick disconnect tool. It's got a scissor design, it's got 2 different sizes, and you'll actually slide one of these sides underneath that neon yellow plastic retaining clip. But the way that they come right out of the package, they actually don't work on Subaru vehicles. Okay, here are those shiny aluminum quick disconnect fittings, and here are those yellow plastic retaining clips. Now you got your quick disconnect tool that you just bought from the parts store, and you're hoping you can use this sucker to remove these fittings. And then you try to put it on, and there's just no way this sucker's gonna work. Between the bend in this hard line and that metal little support bracket, there's just no way to get this tool underneath that yellow plastic retaining ring. So what the hell do? This is what you do. You actually grind off the top half of that metal disconnect tool. The top one is a new one right out of the package, and the lower one is the one I modified so that it'll work on these Subaru vehicles. And it's actually as simple as that. You just notch off that top half. Okay, I'm going to walk you guys through all the steps in modifying one of these fuel line disconnect tools. Now the first step is making sure that you modify the right side. These disconnect tools have 2 sizes, 3/8 here on the left side and 5/16 here on the right side. We're going to be cutting off the end of the 5/16 side, which is the smaller of the 2. Okay, this is the 5/16 side, and we're going to be cutting off the end of this sucker. Now the key to this modification is you don't just want to cut it off at the halfway point. You actually want to cut it off a little further than halfway, closer to here, like 60%. That way the metal body right here hangs a little further over, and you cover a little bit more of that fuel line, which will make sure you actually release those plastic locking tangs. So I'm going to mark this guy right now. I'm actually going to mark it out right here and right here. And then I'll continue the line down and over. And do the same thing on the other side. Continue the line down and over. Okay, now we've got some good marks down, and I'll put this sucker in my vise, and I'll grab my Dremel tool with a cutoff wheel, and we'll start cutting down those lines. Here's a quick tip. Grab yourself a vise, and mount that sucker vertical on the side of a bench or a table. That way, you got the handle on top, you can spin that sucker real quick, and drop it down real quick, and you can mount all kinds of parts of that sucker, and it makes it really quick and easy to throw pieces in a vise. That way you'll hold them steady while you do any kind of modification or grinding to them. This is definitely one of the first things that I always put in my shops. Okay, there are those marks. So I'm gonna throw that sucker in the vise and I'm gonna cut right down those marks. Alright, I'm gonna cut this sucker with a Dremel tool and a cutoff wheel. Oh, and don't forget the safety glasses. You gotta throw on some safety glasses. Anytime you're using a grinder, that cutoff wheel could come apart anytime, and that sucker will go right in your eye and could blind you. So make sure you use safety glasses anytime you use a grinder. And by the way, these aren't safety glasses. Get ones that are real safety glasses, not these cheap ass plastic gas station things. Okay, that side's done. And by the way, never touch metal after you've been grinding on it. That stuff is hot as a mofo. It'll definitely burn you. All right, let's start on side 2. One piece of advice I'll give when you're using a grinder, you basically want to let the tool and the weight of the tool do the work for you. And what I mean by that is you really want to focus on guiding the direction of the blade, but you don't actually want to push the blade into your cutting material too much. You want to let the blade cut through material at its own pace while you guide it and gently control where it's going through the material. So be patient and take your time, and your cuts will come out nice and clean every time. Okay, and here's a close-up view so you can really see how that cut was made. And as you look down from the top, you can see that where I've cut, there's actually more than 50% of that radius remaining. It actually makes a little bit of a C shape. That way, it makes it all the way around that fuel line, and it definitely releases those plastic locking tangs. But before we move on, I actually want to grab my file and shave down those little burrs. I'm using a round file, but you can use any file. Even a flat blade file will work just fine as long as you're careful. Alright, no more burrs. This sucker is ready to go. Time to throw it in that fuel line and see if it disconnects that quick connect fitting. Basically, after you cut off the top half of that retaining tool, it allows that retaining tool to clear that vertical little support bracket. Like that. Now all you have to do is think about where those locking tangs are. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, these plastic retaining clips actually have a double notch in them, and there's actually two sets of these double notches, one set right here, and then a second set located 180 degrees offset. Right here. And these double notches will actually be a reference point for where those inner locking tangs are. The inner locking tangs are located 90 degrees offset from these double notches. So on this plastic retaining ring, 90 degrees offset from these two notches is actually right about here. And again, on the opposite side. So rotate that plastic little retaining clip so that your newly modified tool can actually slide in and release those inner locking tangs 90 degrees offset from those double hash marks. So I'll rotate it down, put the tool in, slide the tool underneath the plastic. As you can see, the tool is completely seated and all the way inside now. And with this tool fully seated, those plastic little locking tangs should be lifted up off that seat, and this disconnect should be able to be slid out with no problem. But before you do that, make sure you get a paper towel or a rag, because this is high pressure fuel and it's likely going to leak a bunch of fuel all over the place. Also, be sure you have eye protection, because you don't want to get a bunch of fuel sprayed right in your eye. I'll also mention that I know that there's safer ways to do this, but this is the way that I've always done it. This is the way a lot of other people do it. And as long as you're safe, you have eye protection, and you have a rag over this high pressure fuel, it should be no problem sliding it off carefully and slowly. Normally, I would completely wrap this sucker with a rag, but so you guys can see this, I'm actually going to leave it exposed and slide it off carefully. Okay, slide it off, and there should be no resistance. And then get your rag. If you feel any resistance, then that tool isn't releasing those plastic locking tangs. It should slide right out. Oh, and there we go, a little bit of fuel. And that's it. Bam. It's as simple as that. The quick disconnect tool works perfect. Do the same thing to the other fuel line, and you're good to go. Here's a quick tip. If you ended up buying those silicone caps and plugs that I pointed out in my earlier videos, grab one of those plugs now and plug that fuel line. That way, you don't leak any more fuel and you don't get any dust and debris into that fuel line. It's a really good practice to do. It can only help. Okay, now that you have that top high pressure fuel line off, you can access the lower high pressure fuel line. Again, take note of those double slit marks and rotate it 90 degrees so that your tool can get inside and release those locking tangs. Then get your rag and slide that fitting right off. Works perfect. Grab another plug and plug that fuel line. Don't forget to cap the hard lines too. That silicone cap and plug assortment will have that size as well. You can get the last line, that smaller diameter line, is part of your fuel vapor recovery system. Bent needle nose pliers work great for these small little spring-loaded hose clamps. Get in there, slide that sucker off, break the seal a little bit, and slide it off. And put a little cap on that sucker too, just for good measure. Okay, and that is all the fuel lines. We are done with removing the fuel lines. Next is the vacuum lines. Let's take a closer look at which vacuum lines we're going to disconnect and where we should disconnect them. Now there's really only one vacuum line we need to disconnect, and that's a vacuum line that goes from your manifold to your brake booster. And you have two options to disconnect it. I like to disconnect it from your manifold and then loosen that clamp so I can twist that hose over to the side, but leave it attached to that brake booster. So I'll go ahead and do that right now. Okay, now that's all the vacuum hoses. There's really only one vacuum hose, that vacuum hose from the manifold to the brake booster. That's disconnected, and we're done with that step. Let's go knock this step off the list. Okay, back to my master list. Remove 2005 WRX engine. We're on step 6, fuel lines and vacuum hoses, and we're done with that sucker. Bam, knocked off the list. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap it up there for today. Thank you so much for checking out the video. I'm Luke, this is a Subaru-only show. In today's video, we walk through the finer points of removing the high-pressure fuel lines from a Subaru vehicle. I also walked you guys through how I modify a common parts store quick disconnect tool. I hope you guys find that tip useful. It's definitely worked great for me. We also knocked another step off the master list for removing this 2005 WRX engine from my 1998 two-door coupe. I hope you're enjoying the build series. I know I am. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave it in the comment section. If you like the video, please give it a like. I really appreciate you guys checking out the video. Until next time, guys, later.